Now we will see the next topic, that is pricing of swaps. Now here what we mean by pricing of swap means the difference between the values of two cash flows, because in swap both parties are exchanging cash flows. So what we do is we calculate the value, that is the present value of cash flow. Though the cash flow is made in the future, we calculate now in its present value. So if the cash flow is in different currencies, the present value also will be converted into that particular currency at that particular exchange rate. Now here you have to understand this: the swaps are valued as same as how we value the bonds. The bonds are valued by taking into account a series of cash flows at different point of time and discounting it to find out the present value. Same thing we do it here also. So what we do is, here we calculate the net present value. You have already heard this term, net present value, in economics. Net present value is the difference between present value of cash inflow minus cash outflow. Present value of cash outflow. Same thing here also. So first we will see how we will value the swaps. First we will see valuation of interest rate swaps. Now we don't have any problems to do in this topic, so we have just learning part. So assume that at maturity the fixed rate party and the floating rate party provide each other equal amount of cash. Then the value of swap is nothing but the value of fixed coupon bond minus the floating rate note. So that is what is the point here. So here P means the price of value of interest rate swap. B means the value of fixed coupon bond. Okay, and VF means value of flexing rate bond. So here what I mean by bond is loan. So here that is how we calculate the value of swaps. Now we will see how we calculate value of currency swaps. Now currency swaps is determined in such a way as a portfolio of two bonds. One bond denominated in foreign currency and another bond denominated in local currency. What I mean is one loan denominated in one currency and another bond denominated in another currency. So here it is calculated like this: PC is equal to VF minus VI. So PC means the value of currency swap, VF means value of foreign currency bond. That's what the VF. VF is equal to the value of foreign currency loan, and VI means the value of home currency, okay, loan or local currency loan. This is how we calculate the value of currency swap. So I hope you have understood how you calculate the value of swaps. That's it. Now we will see different types of swaps. Actually, we have to define swaps into three. One is financial swaps, that we have already seen. Mainly, there are three types of financial swaps. One is IRS, then we have currency swap, and then we have cross currency interest rate swaps. Okay, now we come to the second one, commodity swaps, and then we will see some classification also. First one we will see about next one we will see about commodity swaps. Now here commodity swap, it actually means an agreement where a floating or a market price based on an underlying commodity is traded for a fixed price over a specified period. Now you won't understand this sentence until I explain you with the help of an example. This type of commodity swap, this type of swaps are usually used by refineries, oil companies, metals, weather predicting companies, energy stores, and food including cattle. I'll explain you here with the help of an example. Now here in this screen I have showed you, there is a refinery, there is a oil company, and there is a dealer. Now here they are making a deal. A refinery wants to sell to oil company, say for 3 years. Okay, and now what is happening is, when refinery wants to sell its product to oil company for 3 years, it wants to get a fixed value. So, and the oil company wants to buy also from the refinery the oil at a cheap rate. So here the refinery, the producer, wants to get the best rate from the market. The oil company wants to get the that means the buyer, they want to get the oil from the refinery at the best rate. So here the refinery is expecting best high value in future. He expects that the value of oil doesn't come down. The oil company, the seller, they expect that the value of oil come down and they can buy at a cheaper price. Now what they can do is, they can come into a swap agreement with a bank. Now that's what we see in the middle, the bank data. So the agreement is, it will be like this: the refinery will pay a fixed amount to the bank, and the bank will pay a floating value, a floating rate. That means the current market price of that product to the refinery. So if the market rate is very high, the refinery can make profit. If market rate is low, refinery is loss. Same way, the oil company also makes a contract with the same swap dealer, that is a bank intermediary, where the seller, that is the oil company, they will pay market price to the bank and receive a fixed amount from the bank. So if the market price decreases, it will be good for the oil company. If the market price increases, the oil company has to pay more and more money. So this is how this deal is made, and using this swap agreement, they will make this payment. So this is how in foreign countries the commodity swaps are made. Now how you must have understood how this commodity swaps work. This is used just for hedging. See, at the end of that slide you can see I have explained. Commodity swaps are used for hedging against this fluctuation in commodity prices and fluctuation in spread between the final product and the raw material prices. So I can say here a commodity swap is similar to fixed floating interest rate swap. So what's the difference between this interest rate swap and commodity swap is, in interest rate swap we are considering the floating interest rate, the market interest rate, that is Libor and Euro. But in commodity swap we are considering the market price. Actually no commodities are exchanged during the trade. That is the thing. In this swap, now I am reading the third point. In this swap, the user of a commodity would secure a maximum price and agree to pay a financial institution this fixed price. That's what I have showed you. Then in return, the user would get payments based on the market price for the commodity involved. Now this is the oil company. On the other side, the producer wishes to fix his income and would agree to pay the market price to a financial institution in return for receiving fixed payments for the commodity. So this is how it is done. Okay. So here I can understand this. The worst uses of this commodity swaps are oil companies, metal extracting companies, energy creation companies, food processing companies like cattle, etc. So now coming to other types of swaps. Now I can say these are the different types of interest rate swaps. Interest rate swaps can be further reclassified into forward swaps. We are also called as deferred swaps. That means here the commencement date is delayed to a future date. So this swap will come into effective on a particular date, and this is made through a forward agreement. Okay, so this is most useful for those investors who do not need funds immediately but would like to benefit from the existing rate of interest. Second one is callable swap. A swap is said to be callable when it gives its holders, that is the fixed rate payer, the right to terminate the swap at any time before its maturity. So when this is done, usually this is exercised when the interest rate falls and the fixed rate payer terminates the swap, since the funds will be available in the market at a low rate. Now come to third one, footable swap. Now this is opposite of callable swap. Callable swap will help the fixed rate payer. Puttable swap will help the floating rate payer. Puttable swap, it provides the seller of the swap, that is a floating rate payer, to seize the swap at any time before its maturity. When this is done, if the interest rate rises, the floating rate payer will terminate the swap. Now we come to third one, deferred rate swap. Now here deferred rate swap means it allows the fixed rate payer to enter into a swap contract at any time up to a specified future date. So such type of swap is created, such type of agreement is created where at a future date between a particular period a new swap will be made, a new subcontract will be made. Actually this is made attractive to those investors who need funds immediately but do not consider the current rate of interest. But this is swap on swap. First one what we saw was forward swap. Next one we have is extendable swap. Extendable swap, the word itself explains. That means to extend the period. Swap will have a particular maturity period that will always depend upon the maturity of the loan period also. So here the provider has the right, maybe the floating rate payer or the fixed rate payer, whoever it is, they have the right to extend the swap at the end of the agreed period for a further predetermined period. This will be done with mutual understanding. So this type of swap we call it as double up swaps. Okay. Next we come to fifth one, roller coaster swap. Now roller coaster swap is like the two parties to the contract will convert their liability each other after a certain period of time. That is just to shift their interest rate risk. So what they do is, in order to shift the interest rate risk, they will convert floating rate liability into fixed rate liability or vice versa. So a roller coaster swap is a seasonal swap. You can say like that. Okay. Usually this is done in order to best meet the cyclical financing needs or other requirements of the counterparty. Now we come to next seventh one, zero coupon swap. Now from that word itself you have to understand what is the meaning of zero coupon swap. This is a variation of plain vanilla swap. That means interest rate swap, where the fixed rate payer makes a single fixed payment at the maturity of swap. The interest is calculated on the discount basis, whereas the floating rate payer makes periodic payments. So here floating rate payer will make periodic interest payments, whereas fixed rate payer will make the payment only at the maturity of the swap at undiscounted basis. We call this a zero coupon swap. Then we come to next one, rate capped swaps. Now here the floating rate payer fixes a cap for payment of floating rate interest if it rises. Yeah, always. If now here we can say this is similar to fixed, but fixed interest loan will always remain fixed. It won't rise up and down. But in this rated curve swaps, the floating rate payer, okay, he will fix a maximum cap for payment of. If the floating interest rates increases above that, then this swap will be this swap will be closed. So this is how this swap is working. Then we come to next one, basis swap. In basis swap, both parties are floating rate payers. So we call this as floating to floating interest rate swaps. Okay. Only thing is, it will be on two different market rates. Say one will be LIBOR and another will be one will be LIBOR and another one will be PLR or some other rates or some other market rates. Now next one we come to amortizing swap. Now it is usually an interest rate swap in which the notional principal for the interest payments decline during the life of the swap. Okay, that means the fixed interest payer will pay less interest over the period of the life of the swap. That will be decreasing and coming to zero. Same case in floating rate also. Okay, now this is also somewhat which is more popular in England. Then we come to accreting swap, which is just as opposite of amortizing swap. The principal amount will increase at specified points of time over life So floating fixed interest pair and floating interest rate pair, they'll have to pay more interest in that swap agreement. Then we have next one, quanto swap or differential swap. That means here the swap agreement is made in one currency. If it is that means the fixed interest payment interest rate loan is taken in one currency and the floating interest rate loan is taken in another currency. We call that as cross currency interest rate swaps. If it is made in one currency, okay, both pairs are making income, we call it as quanto swap or differential swap. Hope you have understood what are the different types of swaps. Now again there are different types of swaps, modern types of swaps. These are traditional classification of swaps. Modern types of swaps I will be explaining you later.